first thing we'll kind of touch on is I want to pull up this map because it's really cool. How often do you look at the affiliate map, by the way?
Not really that often.
No. I wouldn't have thought so. Being where you are now, the only reason I bring that up is because I want to share it with you. Now, I want to get your take on this because I've been looking at this quite a lot. Now, I think I'm over the North Pole, right in the center here.
Oh yeah.
Now, I think for everyone at home, hello, by the way, everyone at home. I think you guys in Tromso, right at the top of Norway here.
Yeah.
I think you're the closest box or boxes in here to the North Pole.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah. Now that's quite a big claim to fame, you know. It's
kind of cool.
We get a lot of viewers from the US, and a lot of them are based in the northern states up here, and they complain that it's cold. They complain that it's dark, and they're quite northern, you see. And then I've got a point of reference now. I can say, guys, we've spoken to the people that are closest to the North Pole, so you've got nothing to moan about.
Yeah, exactly. I think in the beginning, my initial plan was actually to call the box Arctic CrossFit.
Nice.
Because we're in the Arctic. But there was actually a box in Alaska that was already called
right.
Arctic CrossFit. But I checked the latitude and everything, and they're not as far north as us.
No, that's quite a big claim to fame, you know. And here's a take on it. We'll talk about kind of the sport and stuff later, but I've always been interested to know how it would go if we had a CrossFit Games in a really cold environment. How that would have a bearing on training for it and the actual execution of the movement and how that would go. But yeah, just a thing we've thought about over the years. Anyway,
it would be interesting to see the athletes of the CrossFit Games try and do cross-country skiing.
Yes.
Or any skiing for that matter. I feel like most of the people that are the best in the world, they're living and working out in a very warm environment. So I don't know if they would look very fit on those on skis, but it's a lot of technique as well.
You'd like to think that the level of adaptation and athleticism that they show, if they didn't ski before, they'd be able to pick it up, not on the spot, but relatively fast. But yeah, neither here nor there.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see, though.
Absolutely.
I imagine it could be quite entertaining.
Yeah. So your box, Uvaer, is that right?
Uvaer.
Yeah. Right. So that translates to storm.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. And the first reason I realized that was when I went to translate on Google for some of your posts that I'll bring up. It translated it to CrossFit Storm, and I thought, yes, now I get it. Now I get the name.
Yeah.
Nice. Love that. So we'll go back to you now, Magnus. So how old are you, Magnus?
I'm 39.
39?
40 this year, actually.
40 this year, so
it's
85
a big year
age.
for me. Yeah.
Lovely. I turned 42 weeks ago now, so we're.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's a funny one when it comes around. I've got this picture of my dad on his 40th holding a balloon, looking really miserable, with me stood next to him, my brother. And I've got one. We took one of me with my two kids with a balloon, and I've made sure that I'm looking like a cheesy grin, like going on it, just to make sure that my kids know.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
So you're turning 40 this year. So you're an 85 baby. Where were you born? Were you born in Tromso?
Yes, I was born here in Tromso. Born and raised in Tromso. Went to school here, studied at university also in Tromso. Imagine we have also the northernmost university in the world. So there's that. Spent my my teen years, cross country skiing actually. So that was my sport growing up. I was a endurance athlete, but I was always a bit on the bigger side of the people that I was competing against. So it was actually transitioning to CrossFit, I think when I was around 24, 25. At that time, I had done like the long races, the Marcialonga and Vasaloppet, and tried all those, the 90-kilometer ones. Started to tire a bit of that. It's very monotonous with the cross-country skiing after a while. So I'm huge respect to those people that keep doing that for a very long time, because it's like the same thing over and over every day of the week. So it was a huge transition going into CrossFit and having such a variety of movements and exercises, which really really stood out to me and really made me love the sport of CrossFit. Funny thing there is actually the when I started, I was in university. I think it was in 2011. So at that time, there wasn't a lot of CrossFit boxes in Europe at all. So how I found it is I was actually sharing an office with a good friend of mine. We were writing our master theses and spend a lot of time not doing the stuff that we were supposed to do. So, on YouTube and different blogs online. And at the time I was working part-time at a gym. And then somehow we ended up finding Chris Spieler and Kalipa and Miranda Oldroyd on YouTube, seeing the stuff that they were doing. And then obviously I had access to the gym after hours. So we started throwing around the weights when we were all alone in the gym and could use up all the space. So that was a lot of fun. But around that time, not a lot of affiliates were around. So basically, we went YouTube, and then we found the CrossFit main site, started doing some of the movements and workouts from there. And in 2012, I went on an exchange to Vancouver for 6 months. So I worked out at CrossFit Vancouver for 6 months. Great place. They had a really talented coaches at that time. I don't know how it is now. Imagine it's similar, but a lot of the coaches were working full time, doing PTs and group classes, nutrition. So for me, it was a big difference from how gyms were running in Norway at the time. And I mean, obviously, a lot of gyms still are running that way, where it's basically you pay for access. So coming to a gym where you actually got coached, you came in, there was a workout ready for you, there was a community around it. That was a really big and positive experience for me. I really loved it. So probably during that semester exchanging in Vancouver, might have spent even more time at the CrossFit box than at the university. Had a lot of fun. So that was cool. Came back from there, finished my master's, and then I worked. So I did my master's in biotechnology. So I worked with that so worked with microbiology for, what was it? Maybe 7 years after that. And my education took me to South Africa for almost 2 years as well.
Wow.
So 2014, 2015, I was down there in Potchefstroom, just about an hour outside of Johannesburg. And we were sampling rivers, testing water quality. And then obviously I also joined a CrossFit gym down there. And then for the last year or so, I also coached at the gym. So a lot of fun. Still have a lot of really good friends from that time to this day. Just from, you know, the community at the CrossFit box. So most of the people that I'm still in touch with are the people that I met doing CrossFit in South Africa, which is, you know, it's interesting because I was working there as well, but I don't have the same amount of contact with the people I was working with or met through other arenas. So really interesting how, you know, the community aspect of CrossFit is, at least for me, it's I've made friends through CrossFit that are gonna be like of my better friends for my whole life, which is pretty cool, even though they're on the other side of the globe.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Yeah. And then sorry.
Sorry, you go.
So came back from South Africa in 2015. Then I had about a year and a half after that, still working with microbiology. I was in a project on antibiotic resistance. A lot of interesting stuff. I mean, it's important, interesting stuff, but it's also a work where you're sitting a lot by yourself in a lab or in an office, not really seeing that many people. And research is also a field of work where there's a lot of temporary contracts. So it's going on 3-month contracts, 6-month contracts, and then at the same time, maybe not loving it as much as I should, you know, to do the best job possible. So really, I was missing the social aspect, meeting more people and helping people, which really was the thing that made me want to open the box in 2017.
Okay.
So summer of 2017, that's when we opened Uvaer. I was actually spending, to be honest, I was already at the end of my stay in South Africa. I was already checking out places to be able to open a box. So it was like a 2-year period, just trying to find a spot to be able to open the gym. Because those, especially here in Tromso, I don't know other places, but those big open
units,
they don't come very often. It's a huge challenge finding something like that. So when I finally found something, I jumped right in it. And actually I signed the lease on the contract for the building before I quit my job. So still,
there's going to be an overlap there. That period of time, you've just reminded me when I opened my first affiliate, that period of time when you're planning and you're going to have a look at buildings and the excitement, the ideas that are going around in your head, and you can visualize people working out and where the rings are going and where the rig's going to go, what flooring, you can just visualize it, you know, that it's an exciting time. Yeah,
it's a very exciting time. Also, probably a point in time where most people opening a gym are very naive, I think. You know, you think you're just going to open the gym and then the people will come. And maybe that was the case in 2011, 2012, but for the last 10 years, it has not been the case. Wow. So, but I mean, I think especially for me, it was a good thing that I didn't know. You know, there was one other gym in town at the time, and they were completely packed. And we thought, okay, we're just going to open the gym, and then we're going to have a lot of customers. And maybe also in the beginning, we were trying to market the gym to people already working out, to people already doing CrossFit or some other similar type of workout, instead of actually trying to help the people that would have the most to gain from starting to work out. So the learning curve has been very steep, especially those 2 first years. Yeah.
And I think that people talk about this all the time, but if you can survive your first sort of like 2-3 years, you learn a lot in those first couple of years. You've got your expectations are here. The reality is somewhere over here, and you have to meet them in the middle somewhere. And we'll come on to Two Brain in a bit, because Chris Cooper and the team are outstanding, and I can see the book behind you. So we'll talk about that in a bit.
We should maybe talk about this as well.
Yeah, do you know what? I've got that ready to go. I've got a picture of that. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Which I'm really, really, really pleased to see, because it's very timely. Chris was on Savon's show last week, and they had a very, very good chat, and they had a really good talk about the evolution of affiliation and the ownership of gyms and where that's headed, being ahead of the curve, and just seeing opportunities that are blindingly obvious to those that are willing to explore options and think the two hemispheres of the brain. So we'll come back to that in a bit. But so you touched on a few things there. Now, one thing that I'm really keen on now, the sport. I've evolved my mindset on this. I was so damn passionately against the idea that the sport had a role to play with recruitment into the gyms. I had it in my head for so long because it didn't impact my gym. My affiliate people didn't come to my affiliates from 2012, 13, 14 onwards because of the sport. I didn't get many people walking through the door. But I think that was my bias. All of my advertising, all of my marketing, all of my clients, word of mouth and through sports, external sports, but also from the way that I advertised and the way that I marketed. Now, sport and the fitness racing style, we didn't really cater for that too much at my gyms. Now, because of that, I think I've got this hang up about the sport doesn't attract people. Now, I've heard a lot of counter argument to it. And the more people I speak to, the more that I hear stories like yours, where I spoke to a guy the other day from Greece. The first time that they saw CrossFit was they YouTubed and they saw one of the OGs working out. They then went on to main site. They then tried to do it on their own without all the kit and without an affiliate. They then went off and they did it themselves and they created an affiliate. That pathway and that story, it's becoming more and more apparent to me that that's quite a common thing to have happened around that time. Now, I don't know how common it is these days, because I don't know if the sport has that much grip on our target market and our target audience in the gyms. So that's another thing to talk about, our target market now. But going back to 2011, 12, your time in Vancouver, it's interesting because the community is the one thing that you've mentioned about at Vancouver. The community is the one thing you've mentioned about South Africa. And then the community we're going to talk about, but we have spoken about at your gym now. At no point have you really talked about competition or fitness racing or the sport of CrossFit along the way there. So, So it's just interesting to me that your friendship groups that you've kept from both of those countries that you visited for whether it was 6 months in Vancouver or a couple of years in South Africa, the people that you've kept in contact with, the driving thing behind that was community rather than a particular competitiveness or anything like that. So I just want to kind of keep that in mind when we go forward, because I think it can be a theme with what we talk about today. And I'm going to ask you about competition a bit later.
Okay.
So you've opened up your gym in 2017, summer 2017. Yeah. When you launched, who did you have in mind as being your target market? I know we talked about this briefly a little minute ago, but was there a group of people that you had in mind that you would probably attract? And then did that match up with who you ended up with after a year or two of building?
It's a very good question. And I think I had no idea. I thought I was going to cater to everyone. I thought I was going to help everyone. I was going to help grandmas. I was going to help competitors. I was going to help everyone in between, because I knew the sport. I knew the training, I knew the coaching, but I didn't know how to run a business. So, and that, when you try and reach everyone, you're actually not reaching anyone at all. So that's also why I think it took almost the better part of 2 years for me to actually get up to the point that I had to be in terms of revenue and profitability, because I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know marketing, so I thought I'm just going to open the gym and then it's going to be so great that everyone's going to come. I didn't have any avatar in mind at all, as far as I remember. There was at least no plan for it. We're just going to help everyone. And we thought also we're going to have a low price so that everyone can afford it. And we didn't, I didn't think about how many people do I actually have to have in the gym for this price to be able to help the company move forward, to pay the bills, basically. So yeah,
it's a funny one, and the more that I hear the word two brain business, the more you can apply that phrase to gym ownership, especially CrossFit, because I don't know about you, one of the toughest things initially anyway was getting my mind around the fact that we are preaching the fact that we're community, we're really good friends with our members, we want to know everything, we want to support them, we're driving, we're looking at change, longevity, health, we're there for them, we know all their family members, we know what they're doing for Christmas, blah blah blah. That's one side, but on the other side, we're running a business. Yeah. And it's a really, really thin line to walk, because if you get too pally, too friendly, too chummy, you'll get the email of, I can't afford to pay this month. Is that okay?
Mm.
And then we're going away for 4 weeks over the summer. Can I pause my membership? If you let those kind of things slide, you'll end up without a gym, because you'll get 10 people, 20 people asking to pause the membership for a month. And then you're down €2,500 or pounds or krona, and then you shut. So
yeah, exactly. And it's interesting. I think a lot of people think that the members are my friends and I'm not going to charge them too much because they're friends and everything. But if you're going to help people, you have to charge for the service that you're providing, because if you don't, you're going to end up not helping anyone, because you're not going to be able to run the gym anymore, and you're not going to be able to have put food on the table for yourself and your family. You're not going to be able to pay your rent. So it all comes down to, if you're going to run or you're going to give the best service that you can, you also have to charge for it. So that also comes back to the clients and the customers. If you don't charge for it enough, the service is going to be worse. And then in the end, those people that initially didn't want to pay for that month or couldn't pay for that month, they're going to be gone anyway, because you're not providing the service that they initially signed up for. But if you do charge for the service, those same people are probably going to stay for longer.
It's counterintuitive initially.
Yeah.
And there's a naivety that goes with running a CrossFit gym, because let's face it, like yourself and me, we're both in our 40th year. Let's go with that. We won't say you're 40 yet.
No, it's not far away. It's in mid-August. So
nearly. We're into the week countdown now. Countdown. We're 40-year-old, we're 40th year men who have had a career in something completely different. We've fallen in love with this thing, CrossFit, this methodology, this sport on the side, the communities, wherever we go, whatever countries we go to, there's this thing, and we fall in love with it, and we feel like we can do that without any prior business acumen. So So we go gung-ho, we go in, and then we realize, okay, here we go. This is the true test. How much do I really love this? How much am I willing to, do? And there's some really steep lessons there. Do you feel like there is any transfer over from your career beforehand? So you're in microbiology and traveling and you're learning. Do you think there was any crossover, like transfer of skill into running the box?
I don't know if there was any direct crossover between the biotechnology, but there's parts of the education, just the perseverance of finishing the master's degree, which was it was challenging in those final 2 years, but still being able to push forward and finish, I think helped me. But I also come back to those teen years when I did a lot of cross country skiing, because it's some of those races were 5 hours and you were training 20 hours a week, and there was all this work being done for the whole off season for several years to be able to really do a good job in a race during those 3-4 months of the season. So there's a lot of work building up to something, and I think that mindset of not getting that instant gratification, but being able to work for a long time for something, and then not harvesting, reaping the same week or the same day, but knowing that okay, in 6 months time, in a year's time, because I'm doing this work now, we're gonna get to the place that we want to be. So that's probably the biggest crossover between the things that I've done before, I would say.
There's definitely something in that, and I totally agree. The retrospectively, so in hindsight, we can look at the gym owners now that have done well, that have continued to grow. They're invested, their community's thriving, and they've done well from this. Obviously, this applies to most businesses as well, but there's there's a certain calmness that you get from a CrossFit affiliate that's been open X amount of years. There's a calmness from the owner. And I think that calmness reflects the way that they think about things long term. There's a delayed gratification. And that goes hand in hand with CrossFit. The people that are after a quick flash in the pan, that are after a quick, earning money and then darting off, it doesn't reflect what we strive for with CrossFit. We're after longevity, health, long-term adaptation, change, and stability. And without getting political, I think maybe that's where the disconnect at the top end of CrossFit, so HQ, I think the owners don't truly reflect what the rest of the community do every day. We're here for the long run. We're here doing it. The owners, the affiliate owners are in it. The good ones aren't after it, instant gratification, in it for the long run. So I think that it doesn't quite reflect what we do at the ground level, or the base. That's why it's called the base. So yeah, you've got a really good point there. And cross country skiing is something that every 4 years, when the Winter Olympics come on, I sit there with my wife and I'm like, how the hell do they keep going for that amount of time? It is insane. Like the endurance, just the mental fortitude in those elements as well. It's mind blowing. When you said about physically you were bigger, do you mean broader, or do you mean taller, or do you just mean more mass?
I was definitely not taller. I'm
right.
I'm 178, 79, so I was definitely not taller, but I was bigger, easy, a bit more easier than the other guys, put on a bit more muscle. So I was probably I was dragging, I was not fat, but I was dragging more weight around, which I was not big, but in the cross country world I was big, because I weighed probably like 75, 78 kilos, which is that's a big dude in cross country skiing. So
that's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. But now I'm always almost 90 kilos. But I think the physique that I have now is more natural for my build, around like 87, 88. So probably I wasn't built for the cross country skiing from the get go, I would say.
So with that in mind, you still manage to do it at a good level and compete at it. So, fair play to you. It's the equivalent of someone like Brent Fikowski doing CrossFit. It doesn't make sense. But having said that, the taller guys have done well the last couple of years. So body shapes always adapting, aren't they, to the programming? Escapist CrossFit. Is this someone you might know?
Oh yeah, this is Richard down in Berlin.
Oh, awesome.
Hey Richard. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Fellow two-brainer. He's a mentor in two-brain business.
Awesome. Right. That is a perfect segue then. Perfect little channel through. So 2017, you've opened your gym. What year did you first stumble across or find Two Brain Business? When did that come about?
Yeah, I think already in 2018, I already started reading Chris Cooper's books, listening to them either on audiobooks or actually buying them from Amazon and reading the books. I was trying to implement some of the stuff on my own. And then, there's a bit of a mind shift there as well, because you have this thought that, okay, I'm gonna help everyone and it's gonna be great and everyone's just gonna come if I just show everyone that we have the best equipment, we have the best facility and the best coaches. So there's a bit of a mind shift from that to narrowing down to your target market and focusing on one specific avatar. So I think we signed up with Two Brain probably end of 2019. I seem to remember we had the first client through our new on-ramp in like November 2019, something like that. So took a bit of time for me to change how I thought about things, but the evidence was there that focusing more on the business side and not just trying to help everyone was the way to go. But yeah, I think might be also the case for a lot of people to get them start working out. It's not necessarily okay, or you show them a picture from the gym or you show them something and they're going to start. There's a process of changing the way that they think about moving and working out. So now we're over into marketing of the gym, but most people are not going to come in just because they see a post where it says come join us and get these results. But there's a process of providing them information and helping them where they are, and then eventually a lot of people will join the gym. So probably that was the same case for me with Two Brain. They were helping first, I was implementing some of the stuff, and then eventually we saw, okay, we're gonna move a lot faster if we have someone that actually helps us with this stuff, shows us how they did it, and holds us accountable for actually doing it.
And then we get to here down the road. So we get to...
Now we're in 2024, so you just skipped right over the pandemic and everything in between.
Yeah. I just pulled this up as like let's call that the current. That's current with what we're seeing right now, 2024. I know we're in 2025, but that's where we're at now. So we're getting awarded in Chicago for an incredible award. What was the award for? Can you sum up? There we go.
Client's Choice.
Client's Choice. So we've gone from you reading a book off Amazon to 5 years down the road, stood in Chicago, getting awarded for the work that you've done. there's a big journey there.
Yeah.
How did that? Can you narrow it down to? Is there one theme that you took? Do you know what? I bloody love a sauna. Ours are very different to yours, but yeah. Is there a particular mind shift set that has got you from reading that book to being awarded? What is the one thing that you think you can narrow it down to that's got you there? Is that something taken from Two Brain? Is it your adaptation of it? Where does that come from? Because that's quite a big jump in 5 years.
Oh yeah, but it's also 5 years, so there's a lot of small changes happening along the way. I mean, the biggest shift was probably just a few months after we signed up with Two Brain. We had maybe 6 months later, we had lockdown for 3 months, where basically we couldn't do our job. And I think, come to think of it, probably, even though that was a shitty time, those 3 months, that was terrible. I wouldn't choose to do that again. But at the same time, it was, since the gym was closed for 3 months, some of the changes were easier to implement. Instead of, trying to do a thing here and a thing there, and people don't like change. So when you change something, if it's the schedule or the way you run your classes, or if it's the pricing, or if it's your marketing, you're always going to have some people that, they don't like when things change. But we had a good opportunity. Since we were closed for 3 months, we could do a lot of changes that would have probably taken us a year or two. We could just implement those when we opened up again, which I think made us move faster after we opened again.
It's the mindset of seeing everything as an opportunity. So seeing the opportunity in the gaps, that's a big thing. That's a big thing for a business owner to have.
And then obviously a huge change for us was moving from providing a free trial class to a no sweat intro instead. So, before we just had people jumping into a class, maybe no experience with CrossFit. They jump into a class, there's toes to bar, there's snatches, there's, whatever. And obviously most of those people have a horrible experience because there's no what do you call it? There's no sense of mastery. You come in there and you just feel like, oh, I suck at all this. Why would I want to come back and do it again? It sucks. All the other people were better than me. So, and then moving from that to basically sitting down and talking with everyone before they do a workout at all, talking about their background, talking about their goals, and then finding the best solution for that person and how to best get them into working out, how to best help them fix their nutrition, their sleep, their entire lifestyle is, that one change is just huge. It's better for the client because they're getting the help that they need, not just being put into a class with a lot of other people that are, have already maybe done it for 2 years. And it helps the business because now maybe we're providing more PT sessions for people starting, which is a huge thing. Actually teaching people the movements correctly before having them perform them with the high intensity, and also getting people used to the high intensity workouts before you throw them in a class with 12 other people that are lifting heavy and they're going hard. Because a lot of people, there's this built-in competition mindset for a lot of people. So even though maybe you haven't worked out in 2 years, but there's someone going hard next to you, so you're gonna want to keep up with them. But it's probably not the best idea when you're just getting started. You want to slowly ramp up to to the level of the classes and not go straight in there.
So
my experience as well was that, another thing is that if you do a trial class and there's 5 other gyms in town also doing a trial class, they're not going to notice the difference. Like, what's the difference between your gym and the gym down the street? They came in there, they did burpees and air squats and ring rows, and they got tired, and then they did a trial class at your gym and it was the same thing. So how are they, from those 2 experiences, going to choose which is the best fit for me?
Absolutely.
And for me, the best gym is the gym that's going to help you reach your goals faster, and going to hold your hand and help you get there in the best way for you.
What do most gyms in Norway charge for membership, and how much is Magnus able to charge and still be prized by his members? That's a tough one to answer, I guess.
Yeah.
Very broad.
I think. Yeah. I mean, still most gyms in Norway are charging way too little and not, making the revenue or profit that they should. So at the moment, the average CrossFit gym is charging something like 800 NOK per month, and we're charging upwards of 1,400. But then that's just, that's the price for group classes, and then we have the on-ramp, we have PTs, we have nutrition, we have corporate. So that's also an important thing. We just don't have, where a lot of gyms have that one revenue stream of just group membership. We have group memberships, we have PT, we have nutrition, and we have corporate. So we have 4 different bigger revenue streams.
Good.
So that, if one revenue stream isn't that good one month, we have the other 3. Whereas if you just have the one revenue stream with group classes, it's going to be a hard time for you if there's less people joining and more people quitting one month, let's say. So that's also important.
I want to just go back to the thing you said about the inductions. Now, I'm a firm believer on the on-ramp system. When I first came to CrossFit, it was a standard. Everyone did it. Along the way, that disappeared, and then people just booked on and went straight into a class. And it blows my mind that that's a thing. My wife's a swimming instructor, and she's also a CrossFit coach, but we equate sometimes to swimming. When you're learning to swim, you don't go in with the elites in the fast lane. You learn to swim well first, and you gradually get faster. And also there's lanes. You've got a slow lane, medium lane, fast lane. So people are given a lane, they can go as fast as they competently can. Our tool for that is scaling. So we do scale, but you've got to have the coaching prowess and knowledge to be able to do that. But at the same time, you need to educate the members on, one, what scaling means. It doesn't mean you're worse. It means that we're adapting, for the individual. But 2, we're scaling to meet your ability and competency now, but that doesn't mean we can't build on that as we go. So it's really important to educate them. And those types of conversations aren't held during a warm-up within a class of 20 people. They're held sat on the sofa before they've even done anything, talking about why we're gradually going to get you to a place long-term over a period of time, again, calmly, and talking about that delayed gratification. You're not going to be at the games quite this year. We're going to take it easy. And if you're a 42-year-old mum of 2 that's bringing her kid to sit in the corner, I don't expect you to be doing the same thing that the 18-year-old lads that's just come in to do qualifiers for the semi-finals. It's by degree, not kind. So we're going to do that. But that all comes, how long has it taken you and I to understand that? We found CrossFit around the same time. We know this stuff, but it's down to us as affiliate coaches and staff and owners to try to educate people on what CrossFit truly is and can be if done correctly. So one thing you also mentioned was target audience and the way that you advertise and what you want to talk about. Now,
so just want to touch quickly on the on the on-ramps again. And trial classes. A big thing as well is if you put a new person to CrossFit straight into the class and you have a coach running the class, if that person now is going to need help on all the movements, you're not just, probably they're not going to have a good experience because you're not going to be able to teach them all the movements in just the 1 hour. So it's better for them to start somewhere else with the on-ramp, but also you're making the experience for your existing members poorer, because now that one coach that's giving the class, he or she is spending all his or her time on that one person that now has not done CrossFit before, and the rest of the group, they're not getting what they paid for. So basically now you're spending all of your time on this person that is not paying you, and you're not spending time on the people that are actually paying for your services. So now you're not just doing a poor job with recruiting a new member. This person is not going to have a good experience, but you're now also doing a very poor job with retention of your current members, because now you're going to have a lot of people dropping in to do a trial class. So your members are going to know, oh, there's a new person today, I'm not going to get any coaching. And then they're not going to stay with you for very long, because now you're not giving them the coaching that you promised them you were going to give them when they began. And if they also started the same way with a trial class, they're now used to getting all the attention, and then now they're getting nothing. So there's that as well. I think the way you get new members also correlates to how you keep current members.
Totally agree. And there's one common theme with all of that you've just talked about and we've talked about before. It's the environment and the culture that you breed at the gym. If you breed a culture of dumping the 5 kilo plates from the top, or 10-pound plates, whatever you use in the US, turning up late and no one batting an eyelid, everyone tidying up their kit before the last person's finished, missing months over when you're going away for the summer, new people coming in and just, going straight into the class, toilets not being cleaned, the coach is not being coached and monitored, and progress reports, and understanding the ethos of the gym and developing those coaches. It's the culture of the owners that the owners create that environment and that space that you can grow that community. If they don't keep on top of that, and we're seeing it now, and I can't help but think, box owners like yourself, Magnus, you've invested a lot of time into what you do and your box ownership, and you're still going strong. You're growing, in fact. Here we are 8 years later after you've opened, and you're still going strong. It's because you care and you want to get better, and you're still doing that because you're long-term minded. We've seen a lot of people over the last couple of years, and it would appear they've just got bored of owning a gym. They've just kind of gone, ugh, and they don't have that vibrancy. They don't bring it to the gym themselves. They don't show that they're willing to invest in the coaches. They don't do the on-ramps. They don't want the member. It appears like they're not really fussed about the members having the best day of their hour, the best hour of their day anymore. Those old school values that we used to have as like you had experienced in Vancouver and in South Africa, those values can be managed and maintained as long as the culture of the gym is being inspired and grown and moved forward by the affiliate owners. And ultimately it comes down to them to drive that and to continue that change. So it's lovely to hear people like yourself still, going strong and invested in that, which is great. So one thing I was really apparent to me on your while scrolling through the social media account for the gym was the posts themselves. So as we scroll through here, we're seeing food, we're seeing community, we're seeing different shapes and sizes, we're seeing food again, we're seeing I love this, by the way. Was this a news report?
Yeah.
This
is actually on the national broadcaster a few years ago.
Amazing.
They just reposted it a couple of weeks ago now because it was snowing a lot. So
right.
Yeah.
So you've got, your basic movements, you've got the class environment, you've got, I'm not being mean, you've got people of all different ages here, you've got different body types, but one thing as well, smile,
Yes.
smile. People looking happy to be there, smiles. The coach is looking like they're having fun. They're invested in the community. Again, food, nutrition. Let's talk about habits. Links to your blog that you put. I don't know if it's yourself or someone else that does the blogs, but smile, smile, smile. She looks like she's enjoying something, in her mind. That's fine. But smile. Teenagers, young kids, food. Again, a slightly older gentleman, ladies that don't look like the regular sports athletes that we get to see. It's what we're seeing here is a true reflection of what the affiliates do, not just the elite snatching and doing muscle ups. Smiles, smiles, smiles. It's just bang, 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 bang. Same thing we're seeing. And that's exactly what we do. Now, what I'm going to ask you is that something that you've implemented? Is there anyone that kind of influenced that? Is that something that you've got from somewhere else? Have you got a coach that manages that for you? Where's that come from?
So now I'm not the one managing the social media right now. It's actually it's my wife that does that. But Great. We've been, I think, well, I'm not sure if we actually did this for the first couple of years, but I mean, at least for the previous 5 years, we really focus on the people, highlighting their progress and the good job that they're doing, and also the good feeling that you get after doing a workout. So that's why we really want to show people that are smiling instead of, maybe 10 years ago, a lot of CrossFit boxers were posting, ripped hands and sweat angels and, people just looking completely miserable, which was probably fine at the time because it was like this new cool thing. But now that's probably going to scare more people away than it's going to attract people. And the people that you're attracting with these hardcore pictures are the same people that are probably already working out. They're maybe already in the gym. So maybe if you get them to join your gym, they're going to be there for 6 months and then they're going to find something else in 6 months that's, new and exciting. Like now there's, I don't know, High Rocks that's going to stick around for a long time. But there's always something new for the people that have already been doing a lot of stuff for many years. So really want to focus. Sorry,
my dad calls them magpies. I don't know if magpies, the birds. I don't know if you have them in Norway. But
no, I don't think so.
They're attracted by shiny things, so they're tin foil or anything shiny they like to pick up. And my dad calls people like that magpies because they'll be on as soon as the next thing comes around that's nice and shiny, they'll be off. Yeah, you can't rely on magpies. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we want to, we have a social community in the box where everyone says hi to everyone, and we if we have time, we stop and talk with people about how things are going, and it doesn't have to be just the workout, but how was work, or how was that trip that you took to the Canary Islands in January, or whatever. It's about actually caring about the people, and as you mentioned before, it starts with us as owners and the coaches. So when we do that, the members will do the same. They copy our behavior. And, you know, when you come to Uvaer, you're going to meet smiling, happy people. So it's natural for us to also show that on our social media, sort of self enforcing, or what do you say?
Yeah. There's a good question here. Why are people from Norway so happy?
Yeah, I don't know if everyone from Norway is that happy. I know a lot of people in my town now this last couple of weeks haven't been that happy because they have to shovel so much snow lately. But I'm happy.
Is that normal for this time of the year?
Oh yeah, March in Tromso is normally the month where it snows the most. So end of March, beginning of April, that's normally when we have the most amount of accumulated snow.
Right. And when does it start to settle down for you? What are your warmer, let's say your warmest months? What kind of temperature might that be, and when would that be?
So first snowfall is usually in October. Maybe it'll melt away in the lowlands before it comes again. And then it can still snow in May, but the snow has usually started melting away. So around mid-May, end of May, we'll have green grass again. So that's what, like 6-7 months of winter. And then there's basically not a lot of spring. We just go straight from winter to summer in June and July, August. And then September, a bit of fall, and then October, winter again. So,
and what's
July can be really like a nice time. It can be warm. I think we've had the last couple of years upwards of 30 degrees.
Oh wow!
That's like maybe a week. But normally it'll be like 15, 16 degrees in the summer.
Right.
So winter temperature for people down under or in South Africa, basically. Yeah.
And I'm not saying this because I'm jealous or bitter, but I can't deal with heat more than anything above 30 gets too much. I'd rather be indoors. I'm cold-blooded. It's just, and I can imagine you're even further along that path than I am.
I mean, I love going to warm places, but then also when we go there, we're there for 2-3 weeks. So it's just, to thaw up our bodies after the winter. But the good thing about cold weather is you can just dress accordingly. Whereas when it gets too warm, there's a limits to how much you can undress without being
in jail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are, 7 years affiliated then. So the Open this year, I went onto the games site, had a look. I saw you had 9 people registered.
Yeah.
We had 5 men, 4 women. 6 of the 9 were masters, including yourself. Was the how much of a role does the Open play within your walls?
Yeah, it's not a big thing at the affiliate. So now 9 people, that's like 4% of the members. So it's become like smaller and smaller over the years. And I think the last 4 years as well, because we've had like our own in-house competition that we run in April, which has become like way more popular. We have 60 people sign up for it. And it more reflects the values that we have as a box. It's a competition that's inclusive for everyone. What we saw actually on this year's Open is that we had a lot of people coming to the first Open workout because it was a workout that everyone could do, and people were happy they could. A lot of people could do it RX, and the scaled version was very similar. And then we came to the second workout, and it's all of a sudden it's more advanced. There's heavier weights, and even on the scaled version, you have to do pull-ups on the second round. So a lot of people were like, okay, I'm going to do yeah, it's not going to be a cool experience for me because I'm going to do one round and then I'm finished. So yeah, that didn't help with the recruitment for the Open.
I think that method that they used to do that. I don't know if you remember, like the 5 weekers, and pre-COVID, so pre-pandemic, they always used to use that as a tool to drive sign-ups for the first week. It was always more of a Metcon. It was always more all-inclusive. Get the sign-ups. Week 2, we have a high skill set or a heavy barbell. They haven't done that really, to my knowledge, over the last few years. This was the first time where I genuinely felt, okay, they've upped the game again on week 2. The second week, week 1 was Metcon and all inclusive. Week 2, it just leveled up. But yeah, so although I didn't do too well,
I mean, I don't think it. So leveling up is fine. It's just, I think the biggest problem was that the scaled version was, for a lot of people, just doing 18 pull-ups is, they're not going to be able, and they know they're not going to be able to do it. So then they'd rather just not show up. So we had, I think there was some people that signed up and did the first workout, and then they didn't come for the second and the third.
Yeah, there was a year, it might have been 15 or 16. It was before they started the scaled option. So I think it was 15. And I think it was week 2, 3, 2, 1, go. I think it was a 10-minute AMRAP, and it kicked off with 7 ring muscle ups. The first movement. Movement 1, rep 1 on a 12-minute AMRAP was ring muscle ups with no scaled option. So when we talk about the having to stand there and look at a bar and not bothering to sign up because of the work or do the workout, I always keep that workout in mind to remind myself that has been in the Open for the longest time. It's just that it's become less and less apparent over the years, and they haven't done it. So when it does come in like this, I think we've got so used to the scaling principle and the options, and giving people that the gyms loads and loads of different options with all the knowledge that we've got, and we scale, make sure and people get the stimulus of the workout. The Open comes around, the test, showing the gaps, showing that sometimes you can't just scale every workout. When you come to there and you can't do something, it's a bit of a kick, because I can't do it. I'm gonna have to stand there and look at it.
I mean, we did. To be honest, we did have some people where we got them to just go to the pull-ups, and if they did 1 or 2 reps, and then we said, okay, we noted your score. Now continue the workout, but you can do ring rows or jumping pull-ups, and then you can do whatever weight you want on the was it thrusters. So we had a couple people doing that, but a lot of people at our box, they have busy lives, they have full-time work, a lot of them have kids, there's all these other obligations. So when they come into the gym, they want to actually get a workout in. So I think a lot of people were thinking, oh, I'm going to do 1 round and then that's it. So I'd rather just, do an actual workout for me instead of this thing.
That reminds me of a conversation that, and again, it revolves back to the level of coaching, knowledge, and skill-based lesson planning, that kind of thing. A little while ago, my old gym was at an athletic center. So our shutter door opened up, and then we'd go out and we were on a track, like a very high-level Olympic track. So obviously, as soon as the sun comes out, I used to program a lot of running on the track, involving it in the workouts. One week, I had programmed 1 attempt at a 400-meter run. You had 1 attempt at a 400. Now, at that time, we were posting our workouts the day before, and the kickback that I had from a lot of the members saying, I can do that on my own. I don't need to come in for a 1.5 minute workout. But what they failed to realize was we had filled the whole hour leading up to the 400-meter attempt at about the 40-minute mark, and then cool down, then prep, and then going home. We had a whole session. And the thing is, that was my fault for not having communicated that very well, that the test will be 1 attempt, just like a 1RM snatch. How long does that take? 5 seconds. So it's not necessarily the volume that we're after. It's the quality and the intensity sometimes. However, like you've said, I think people come to the gym, and now that we've broadened our horizons with our target audience and our market, we've had to adapt the way that we program and train at the affiliate for that broader community. We can't always stick to that same 100 members that just want to come in and get rinsed and do muscle ups and then go on their way, because as a business model, that does not work. So we've had to diversify and have more access to different styles of training. So the programming has had to change along the way. So I think you're right there. I think the open doesn't necessarily reflect the way that the gyms have had to evolve. So when it does come around each year, the likelihood of your general GPP member wanting to sign up is probably less than it used to be, because the programming has had to adapt and change. So that's a very good point you've brought up.
But I mean, it always comes back to the work that you're doing in the box as well. I mean, either as owner or coaches, if you really want to make the open something big at your box, then you can. I think for me, since we have all these other events, we haven't really focused on the open, because, to be honest, also you're now spending, well, it was worse before the pandemic, because you were spending 5 weekends. I just remember back in 2019, I was completely shot after those 5 weeks, not a single weekend off, and then also working long days the rest of the week. So like, after the 5 weeks, you were just, thinking, oh, this was terrible. I'm glad it's just, that it's a year till next time. And still now it's going to be, the Friday and maybe, or the Monday or the Saturday or the Sunday. So if you want to run all the workouts at your box, you're basically using now 3 weekends in a row to do the open. So just it comes back to what you as an affiliate owner wants to focus on. And for us, it really hasn't been the competition side of things. So I think that's also why, if we were more interested in doing the open bigger at the box, maybe also more members would be more interested in doing the open. But we just had more success with this in-house competition, and it was more popular, and people are looking forward to it. So I think that's also part of why we focus more on that than on the open.
And I'm piecing that together with what I just said about the evolution of the gym, the evolution of the affiliates. We've been forced into adaptation and evolution for a broader market. The open has become less of a staple that with CrossFit gyms over the last sort of 5-6 years. It's less central to the gyms, and as a result of that, the sign-ups were obviously a lot lower this year for the open.
I think that was also different reasons,
affiliates.
I mean, the happenings at the games last year, and a lot of people maybe weren't as excited as previous years because of that. But I think it's not necessarily going to be the same thing next year. I think it's going to pick back up again.
Yeah, I've got a feeling it was very. I know it's like 5-6 months, but that 5-6 months, a lot of the spark, a lot of the fun. It wasn't necessarily, with politics aside, it's not whose fault or whatever what actually happened. I think all it did, it just burst a little bit of a bubble of excitement that goes with the sport. And I think everyone was a bit down. Everyone's like, oh, can't be bothered. But I think over the next year, we can see that come back again with a bit of excitement and a push. Do the affiliates get that excitement pushed towards them? And the marketing, the advertising during the open was awesome. Some of the graphics and the designs and the open posts were great. That would be good all year round. some of that visual investment and time that they put in towards that was so good during the Open. But if it would have been 2 months prior, I think we might have seen a little bit more of a buzz about the Open. But I can't blame affiliate owners for not being excited about the Open this year. There's an association between the games, what happened, and the Open. So of course people are going to be less excited about it. But again, the affiliates haven't lost out on anything by not doing the Open. Your box, you had 9 people out of, was it 4%? You said you haven't lost anything from not running it. Yeah. So
no, yeah. We have about 200 members now. So
brilliant.
That's about 4.5%. But I mean, one of the 9 people was me, so that's why.
Yeah. So
but one thing, no, it's I think it's going to pick back up again unless something big happens.
Yes,
I think this was just like a year where the attendance dipped a bit, but I think it's going to come back up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and coming back to reality, so the games, the sport's exciting. I call it the circus. It comes to town once a year and everyone buys tickets and everyone's excited. But then the show goes on, it travels elsewhere, and we go back to normal day life. This kind of thing, I want to ask you about this association, if you don't mind. So a lot of your posts, a lot of your members are wearing these T-shirts. They kind of appear on your social media a little while ago. I just wanted to ask the association here. Now I've got is it Ungkraft? Is that a company, an organization?
So this was actually we have this event every year in February, I think it is. So it's a Saturday. We have 3 workouts during the day. People can sign up, but they have to now pay a fee to participate. And there's also the option to buy those T-shirts, and all that money goes to research on child cancer. So
where did
that's also that started actually. So we had. We've had this fundraiser every year since we opened the box. I think started out with a lot smaller, where we fundraised for more the Norwegian Cancer Association, and then we did that I think for 1 year, but it didn't. It just felt like we were sending the money to this big organization, and we just didn't hear back from them. And then for a couple of years, we had a cooperation with a organization called Ungkraft, which is basically means young cancer. So this organization was working to take care of teens and young adults with cancer. It's not just the medical treatment, but there's a lot of other challenges for people, especially in their teens and young adulthood, which was great. And then now for the last 4 years, we've had the cooperation with Barnekreftforeningen. So it's the Children's Cancer Association, along with another organization of cyclists. And these cyclists also help us with the actual organization of the event. And so for these last 4 years, it's just really picked up, just having an external partner that we can spar with and helps us make the event even better, helps us market the event. And they're also there during the day to help us with everything. It's become this big thing that members are looking forward to. We also have the option for non-members to participate. It's now not a very advanced workout. It's a workout where I think this year we had capacity of about 45 people in a workout. Normal class for us is 12, 13 people. So we had a lot more people, but we did it in stations, and this is the one. So there's 2 workouts for adults, morning and afternoon, and then in the middle there's a workout for kids as well. So that picture right there is for kids, from the workout for kids. And it's we're raising money for this great cause, and it's also an event that our members love, and they're looking forward to it. and it sells out like in a couple of days. Those 100 spots, they go so fast. Because it's, it's not something that happens every weekend. It's this special thing. And it's also, like I said, a great cause. So it's been really popular.
And what I mean, that photo sums it all up, doesn't it? What a beautiful picture. What do you mind me asking? Where that was? That something that with the association with the cancer side of stuff? Was that like a personal thing for yourself as organisers? Was it something that you kind of just decided we need to work with a charity? Okay, what better one than this? How did that happen initially?
Yeah, that's a good question. I can't remember the initial idea for it, but what we come back to is, it's a good experience for people getting together, and people love helping other people as well.
Yeah.
So it's sort of these two things that really make that event very popular.
Yeah. Ultimately, that's where we can lean into our community power as affiliate owners and managers, and we can use that to the best extent we can for really good causes. So good on you for doing that. Just gonna do this last one. Coaches Congress. So I want to ask you about this. The reason I want to ask you about this is because I had an email the other day about these ones coming up this year. Now, with a lot of people over the last kind of couple of years de-affiliating for one reason or another, I think it's important to kind of reflect on what CrossFit can offer and what we have at our disposal, and what affiliate owners and coaches can do to drive a better environment at their gyms themselves. And we've talked about that obviously in different ways. But the Coaches Congress, can you talk me through, for anyone that doesn't kind of know about the Coaches Congress, can you just talk us through, because you've been to a couple now, haven't you? So I just want to see your take on it, and why you'd go to that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's a great place just to meet other gym owners, to meet other coaches, and get other perspectives on things that you might not get, every day, especially if you don't have anyone close that you can talk to every week. And I think, the best part about Coaches Congress for me is it's centered around how to run a solid business. Their wording is, I think, forging elite business. Whereas other events where you might meet people that are CrossFit box owners or coaches are at competitions, which is like the complete opposite side of the spectrum. It's also, there's so much information coming your way through that weekend. There's a lot of inspiration. So I brought my coaches with me. This is my wife, Ingrid, actually on the picture with me. So me and her, we've gone a couple of times, and then I brought some coaches a couple of times. And it's also a place to just really get a lot of inspiration and motivation for running a gym, because you meet all these other happy people that love the same thing that you do. They love helping people, but they also want to do it the best way possible. They want to do it with a profitable business, so they can keep helping people long term, and not just, getting a lot of members short term and then losing them again. So for anyone in Europe that haven't been to Coaches Congress, I would definitely recommend going there. It's been, it's one thing seeing people in forums online and discussing things on emails or whatever, but meeting those other owners and coaches, it's really invaluable. And there's also all that information that you can use to to improve the way you run your business, which is it's invaluable.
And this is the thing, we often like the question of what CrossFit, what does CrossFit do for us? What do we get out of being affiliated? It's things like this that are at the disposal for affiliate members, coaches and owners, if we're willing to put in the little bit of effort into going to these things. It's all on tap. We can go there. It is available. You just need to be willing to have the drive to be able to initially take the first step and go to these. And also, if for nothing else, Rich Froning is going to be at the London one in October. so you can meet the GOAT if you go to the one in London. I've pre-registered for that because I want to meet.
Are you going?
Yeah, I'll be going to the London one. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's probably not that long for you to go there.
No, it's it used to be about a 20-minute train journey to Twickenham, but where this is being held, it'll be at Twickenham Stadium where the rugby's played. In England. But yeah, now I'm in the middle of the Irish Sea, so a train journey here, a bus, a plane, train here and there. But I will get there. I've got family near there.
The middle of the Irish Sea. Are you? Where's that?
The Isle of Man. So
Isle of Man. Is that Irish or English or Welsh?
Kind of. So it's very unique. I don't want to spend too much time on myself because who wants that? But
Isle of Man.
Let me show you where I am. There's a heavy Viking influence here. Funny enough.
Oh yeah.
So, brief history lesson for you. Here we go. So there's me in there. So we're right in the middle in here. Right in the middle there. I used to live down here.
Okay.
You're obviously right.
So basically, rooting for the English during the World Cup.
Well, I used to live here. I born in the Isle of Man, came down here at the age of 1. Then 3 years ago, moved my 2 kids and my wife back to the Isle of Man up here. So we're in here. So I'll have an English influence. However, we've got a lot of Irish on the Isle of Man. We've got a lot of Scottish, got people from Northern Ireland. We've got some Welsh. So it's a really, really mixed bag here. So it's really cool. It's such a lovely, unique place. But yeah, it's I wouldn't want to live anywhere else right now anyway. So we're all good. But that's where I am. So I would need to get a plane from the island down to London and then a bit of a train over to Twickenham. But it wouldn't take me too long. So that's what I'll be doing. So yeah,
I was just thinking about the World Cup in 23. Yeah. I was obviously rooting for South Africa. So
yeah, they did all right, didn't they?
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, the Isle of Man where I live is a tax haven, and in the early 90s, South African government in 93, I think it was, they reached an agreement for visas for South Africans to come to the island and an exchange program. So on an island of 85,000 people right now, 9,000 are South Africans.
Oh, really?
A high level of and a lot of our gyms, a lot of the CrossFit gyms we got here are, a lot of Saffers. So whenever rugby comes around, we've got the yellow and green comes out quite a lot.
Cool. Yeah, are they English South Africans or Afrikaners,
Afrikaans. Yeah, whenever they get angry or they don't want us to understand what they're saying, they go full Afrikaans mode. So yeah, I've picked up a couple of phrases, but I won't.
So you know the P-bomb.
Yeah, I won't be using that one. Yeah, not online anyway.
No. Me neither.
But that comes out now.
Not on live.
No, I don't want to get a strike. Yeah. But yeah, there we go. So you've obviously spent a lot of time investing in your. How many coaches do you have at your gym?
So now there's 3 full-time employees, and then we have 6 part-time coaches. I would say, there's more with the full-time coaches, of course, because they do nutrition and personal training and everything, whereas the part-time coaches mainly do group classes. but we try and do follow-ups with them as well. We do evaluate the classes, and we go through it and see like what's going good, how can we improve to become even better. But to be honest, I think the biggest challenge, especially for us in this small town in the north of Norway, is just finding those people to begin with. Actually finding the coaches that align with our values and are going to fit into the community. So we've had better luck. A couple of times we've hired from outside the gym, and most of the time that hasn't worked out that well. So most of our coaches are hired from the current member mass. But I mean, at the moment, we have one full-time employee that we've hired from outside. We had he actually came last year for an internship first. He's from Croatia, and then he did such a good job that we hired him full-time, and he came back now. Just 2 months ago now. So he's been working full-time for 2 months almost. And I think we have probably also one of the part-timers that were hired from outside. But in general, the biggest success we've had is, recruiting from inside the people that are already members.
Very, very, very common theme. I think because if you think about it as an employer, you need someone that's going to know your product and service, aligns with your values, and works hard. Right.
Yeah. And if they've been members for a couple of years already, there's a very big chance that they align with your values. And it's easier to teach people how to teach someone a squat than to teach them, to align with your values. I don't even think it's possible to teach someone to align with your values. They either do it or they don't.
100%. And I think that's a very common theme. That's how I ended up coaching at my first CrossFit gym. I was a member there first and foremost. I came from a different sporting background, but I appreciated the level of commitment to health, community, and just the general feel of being in the CrossFit. There's something very unique about opening the door to a CrossFit gym. You know how sometimes you go into a theater or a big old theater, and you feel like you can feel the laughter and the excitement and the souls of everyone that's been in there. It's like when you go in a CrossFit gym, you can almost feel the souls that have kind of evaporated in that gym over the last 7 years.
Yeah,
it's a funny old feeling. But yeah, no. Do you know what? You raised a good point there. I've never thought about this before, but there could almost be like an exchange program. Like when you're at school, you go on. Like, did you ever do that in Norway? Like exchange programs with students, and with like.
Yeah, we did. We went to France for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So within CrossFit gyms with affiliates, I'm sure they could organise like an affiliate exchange program where you just go and live in the other person's house, preferably without the wife being there. But we know some of those CrossFitters. But that'd be a pretty cool idea to experience different cultures within the CrossFit gym, have a guaranteed sort of, roof over your head for a couple of weeks and just swap over. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, that was just a thought I just had.
Yeah, no, but I think it's a good, I think it's an excellent point. And I think also, that the experience for me living abroad, living in Canada, living in South Africa, has also helped me, see things from other perspectives. If it's running your business in a different way, or how people are so different, could be, there's not just people from other countries, but even people from the same town. People think in different ways. They don't reason the same way that you do. So the more people you've met, the more places you've gone to, the more different solutions you've seen to the same problem, the better you're going to be at meeting people where they are. And if you're going to help someone with their fitness and health, you really have to meet them where they are. So I think that's something that really helped me.
Definitely. And that, although, you know, we all know that there's common themes with every CrossFit gym you go to. You've basically got a group of, no matter where they're from, you can have a CEO of a big company. She's working her ass off in an office all day. She's there at 6 o'clock in the morning. You've got your granddad of 7 grandkids that's coming in and not moving. Totally different background to her and age. You've got the teenagers that are coming in just because they want to get better at football. Totally different backgrounds, totally different lives, totally different points in their life. But they're coming in and they're sharing this experience together. And it sort of breaks down these ideas about other people that you might have, these preconceived notions of other people. And you share this space with them 3 or 4 times a week. And it's this kind of like melting pot of people. And it's the same all around the world with CrossFit. The theme is we're working hard for what we want, and you whether you have that when you first go or whether you develop that over time, eventually you have this community of people that work bloody hard for what they want to get and achieve, and that's the common thread between them all. So experiencing that in Vancouver or South Africa or Norway or Berlin or wherever you are, you're going to get a similar kind of feel for where you're at, because everyone understands. It's why the girl wads are so important. What's your Fran time? It's the cliche. It's universal language, and we all know if we meet someone with a 5-minute Fran time, we kind of know where they're going to be physically and probably where they're at in the headspace. If we've got a 2-minute Fran time, we know you're probably under 30. You're probably relatively lean. You're probably 5'7" or 5'8". And you're probably absolutely batshit crazy. And so,
or you might just be very bad at counting.
Yeah, well, there is that as well. Yeah, or you're using a med ball to go down in your thrusters. So, but beside the point, you get this understanding after a while of being CrossFit of these common themes, and we can bond and we can blend with these similar people. I spoke to these guys in Athens the other day who run the Athens Throwdown. And they've invited me to stay over and spend a week at their gym and like sunbathe on the terrace, not with them, that'd be weird, but just going over there and just having fun. And you wouldn't get that with a Planet Fitness or a Globo gym. You wouldn't get the manager asking that. Well, you probably will if I was a 25-year-old female, probably would. But as a CrossFit gym, you don't get that anywhere else, and that's the beautiful thing about this. So an exchange program might be quite a good idea. Actually, I might just go for free holidays. I might just email some CrossFit gyms and go, "Hey, here's an idea. Why don't you send one of your coaches over to the Isle of Man? I'll go and stay in South Africa for a week." But
I mean, that would be awesome. I think it would be great for everyone involved, just going somewhere else and seeing how they do things. It's interesting. I was initially. I didn't think that this, selling people the on-ramp with PTs was going to work in Norway, even though I did it myself when I was 24, 25 in Vancouver. They had PT on-ramp and I thought I loved it. I thought it was so great. But then coming back here, I thought, no, people are not going to be willing to pay for that in Norway. I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah.
But I mean, people are definitely willing to do that because they see the value. So I think going to other places, seeing that things work, and even though we're different, most of the time we're very similar, and people have the similar goals, and they have similar busy lives with families and kids and work and whatever. But at least later years, people really appreciate having good health and fitness. So I think
you're reading that comment, aren't you? Are you reading that comment?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you at all or not?
No, I haven't.
There's this really, really strange, I like it, program called the Mighty Boosh from the early 2000s, and that's a quote from that comedy show. We talked about it the other day as a group, but never mind. It's fun. But no, Magnus, I asked you for an hour of your time, and we're well over an hour and a half now. So I know you've got other stuff to do. So I just want to wrap it up.
Late for my next appointment.
Yeah, sorry. So I won't keep you too much longer. But Magnus, what a fantastic gym you've got, fantastic community, but also is testament to your willingness to just continue to learn. And there's this thing as well as a CrossFit gym. There's this thing that goes with people that are on Two Brain, and I'm not selling Two Brain here whatsoever, but whenever I hear someone talking that is on Two Brain, they've got a certain mentality that's driving their gym forward. It's just this association between people that are willing to invest in that time. Just so happens that all of them are fantastic gym owners and they've got an insane community and are doing well. So, but no, you've got an excellent.
Yeah, actually, when you meet people that are on Two Brain, it sounds like they're on a drug.
Well,
but
yeah, maybe.
But I mean,
maybe.
It's also, you know, we talk about the community of CrossFit and CrossFit boxes and the workout, but inside Two Brain as well, there's this really big, positive, great community of business owners, and everyone just wants to see everyone else in the group succeed. So, you know, we get help from the mentors, we get help from the toolbox that we have, but also owners helping owners as well. So it's really helped us a lot.
Good. So yeah, Jody just wants to throw in Charlie Cancer sucks. Good effort there, Magnus. Yeah. What I mean, it'd be difficult to find another charity that everyone would agree is that, you know, is pretty important.
And the interesting thing, you know, there's and what I've learned over the last couple of years is that children have small bodies, and cancer doesn't work the same way in a small body as a grown body. A lot of research on cancer and cancer medication has been done on adults, not necessarily on kids. So there's a huge gap there, and a lot of the money that we raised and are raising every year goes towards research on how to, how does cancer actually develop in kids, but how to treat that in the best possible way, because treating kids as adults is not necessarily the way to go.
Wow, I did not know that. That's incredible. No, great insight. Good. Well, anything we can do to promote that or help out on the show, Magnus, just let me know. I'd love to be able to help there how we can. But no, awesome. Again, Magnus, excellent to hear you, Jim's. Excellent to hear from you, and I'll keep in touch, and hopefully we can help you out promoting that. So thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Best of luck in the next sort of few months, and enjoy your summer when it comes. Won't be too far away.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jake. It's been a pleasure being on the show, and if you ever want to have me back, I would be more than willing. I feel like there's still a lot of stuff that we haven't discussed, and I'm. So even though summer is far away in Tromso, I'm lucky. I'm gonna go to a Two Brain Tinker meetup in Mallorca in just 2 weeks. So I'm gonna have my week of summer in just a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I'm not jealous, by the way, at all. Good stuff, Magnus. Thank you so much. Enjoy the trip, and I'll speak to you very soon. Nice one. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers. Speak to you soon. See you on Tuesday. Well, I've got Rebecca from Rising Tides on, a European-based company that resell a lot of the American licensed products that we don't quite get access to, and all profits go to charity there. So I'll be interested to speak to her. Magnus, if you hold on, I'm just going to click end stream, and then we can have a chat quickly. Nice one, guys. Thanks very much. Awesome.